Let's go over the question one more time. So what is the peak date of hurricane season? Is it A, August 27th, B, August 31st, C, September 5th, or D, September 10th? The answer is D, September 10th. Let me show you the span of hurricane season and when it starts, the peak, and when it ends. So hurricane season, the peak is September 10th. It starts on June 1st, and the season ends November 30th.
Coming down stronger, the winds are blowing, and anything that's not strapped down is blowing away.
Hurricane Florence became the first major hurricane of the 2018 hurricane season, and it drastically changed the lives of millions of people. It made landfall right here on Wrightsville Beach on September 14th as just a Category 1. But don't let that number fool you. The damage it caused was so severe that the National Hurricane Center retired the name Florence. NBC Charlotte's Michelle Bowden takes a look back.
This is just one of many creeks in our area that flooded during Florence, blocking roadways for days because this storm was record-setting in the worst way possible. The 9th most destructive storm to hit the U.S. 22 people were killed, $24 billion in damages, much of that right here in the Carolinas. It was the kind of once-in-a-lifetime storm where the news is nonstop, and the news isn't good.
It was eerie. We heard creaking and some metal tearing.
Our breaking news coverage of Hurricane Florence began in the days just before the storm made landfall near Wilmington. The hurricane came ashore as a Category 1, but packing the highest wind gust to hit here in 60 years.
This piece of debris, I'm gonna have to stand on it because it started flying around, just hit me in the leg.
Lester Holt and the nightly news crew captured this poignant moment of prayer after rescuers couldn't save a woman and her infant, killed after a tree crashed into the family's home.
It's a difficult situation for all of us.
Once the winds were gone, the unrelenting rain and flooding became the problem on the coast and here in Charlotte.
You're going to see water rushing over some of the highways, causing dangerous flooding situations.
Our anchors were stunned to see people taking chances with the water time and time again.
Oh my, please.
It is not worth your life.
Police say Charlotte mother Deja Lee ignored the warnings and the barricades driving around them on Highway 218. Her car was swept away in the floodwaters. She got out but lost her grip on the car seat she was carrying. The body of her son, 14-month-old Caden Lee Welch, wasn't found until hours later.
He was my first and only child, and now he's just gone. Now I don't even feel like a parent no more. He's just gone.
In all, 22 lives were lost because of the storm, another 30 deaths indirectly related. For days, our area dealt with widespread flooding, power outages, downed trees, damaged homes, and more. All a not very distant memory as yet another hurricane season gets underway. In Charlotte, Michelle Bowden, NBC Charlotte.
And as we've said, Hurricane Florence made landfall as a Category 1 with winds up to 95 miles per hour. Now, a Cat 1 is the lowest on the San Francisco scale, but those winds can still cause widespread damage and destruction, and it's something you never want to be stuck out in. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy shows us why.
We're here in Mooresville at the Aerodyne wind tunnel where they test the aerodynamics of race cars. Wind speeds within that air tunnel can get up to 130 miles per hour. That's a Category 4 hurricane. But instead of putting a race car in the wind tunnel, they're going to put me in the wind tunnel.
Primarily, we don't, blow people.
What have I signed up for?
Most of the time, we have race cars in the tunnel.
Suddenly, a small sense of regret.
The tunnel's built around having a race car in the tunnel. That's why the walls are bent.
All right, right position. Here goes nothing. Bring on the tropical storm first. Right now here at Aerodyne, they're cranking winds up to 40 miles per hour. So this would be a low-end sustained winds from a tropical storm. Let's step it up to Category 1. Here we go. Here at Aerodyne, they're now going to bring up winds up to 80 miles per hour. This is a Category 1 hurricane. I'm trying to fight it, but I got to go back in the harness. A Category 1 hurricane is going to bring winds at 74 to 95 miles per hour. At this point, we're seeing shingles, roof tiles ripped off the building. Shallow-rooted trees are being just completely uprooted and toppled. I need to use the harnesses for support. It's nearly impossible to walk at this point. Thinking of the Category 1, this is still a very dangerous situation. You can see it on my face.
Hey, coming up next.
Let's step it up to Category 2.
We're going to crank the winds up to Category 2 strength.
season. It's hard to believe, but a North Carolina woman was both flooded in Hurricane Matthew and Florence. It all happened in Goldsboro, which is just an hour west of right here. In 2016, Staris Morgan's home was flooded by Matthew. FEMA paid some rental assistance and just enough money to tear out the flood damage. She continued to pay her mortgage and flood insurance while living in an apartment, and then Florence hit. After the second historic storm that she went through, she has gotten no help.
I've been turned away, I've been turned down, denied, of course, denied.
FEMA rejected her claim, saying her home is no longer her primary residence since she now is living in an apartment. Hurricane season also happens to be the time of year that several people are traveling on their summer vacations. Going to their destination can put you at risk of coming in contact with a hurricane. Knowing how to avoid putting yourself in that situation and what to do if you come into contact with a hurricane anyway is crucial. Meteorologist Aisha Scott has more on what you need to know.
You've been planning your dream vacation for months, maybe even years, but a hurricane, it can form in just about a couple of days. We're talking to an expert about how you can protect your investment.
We recommend insurance really all the time because your hard-earned travel dollars should be protected, but particularly during hurricane season.
Ronnie Fishkin is the marketing director for Man Travels. She says there's a wide range of travel insurance options.
You could get the Rolls-Royce of insurance, or you could buy a basic insurance.
Ronnie says it is vital that you speak with your travel professional about what you're being protected against.
Some insurances do not protect you if there's a tropical occurrence, especially if the flights are still going and the hotels are still open.
You won't get any of your money back, that is, unless you have cancel for any reason insurance, which covers weather events like a hurricane. But she also says it likely won't cover everything.
Most of those policies don't cover 100% of your costs, and there's very strict rules.
Ronnie says just because there is a hurricane watch or warning posted, it doesn't always mean you're covered.
Typically, insurance is not going to give you any money back if it's just been a hurricane warning or a storm watch, because what they're looking for is closures.
If you are about to plan your next vacation, watch for insurance policies that are very inexpensive but promises you extensive coverage. Ronnie says there are so many other factors.
Sometimes insurances are based on age. If you're a young, healthy person, your insurance might be less expensive than someone who's in their 70s or 80s.
If your heart is still set on the Caribbean during hurricane season, try other destinations that aren't as prone to hurricanes.
Typically, that's further south in the Caribbean. Aruba, Bonaire, Curacao rarely get hit by hurricanes.
You may also want to consider a cruise.
They can reroute the itinerary, they can go to other ports, they can miss the hurricane area and be out at sea, and sometimes travelers don't know.
And travel experts say ask as many questions as you can about your travel insurance. For NBC Charlotte, I'm meteorologist Aisha Scott.